All right, we're going to discuss your DOT clocks, okay? Now, this is basically for the purpose of doing your logs, and you're having a little bit of struggle with the logs. So I'm going to explain to you what these clocks mean, and that's going to help you to start understanding how to do your log sheet. Okay? All right. So you basically have just one clock, okay? But that one clock is broke down into 3 times, okay?
All right.
Your clock is 14 hours.
Okay.
Okay? And the 14 hours, that is a window of time once you go on duty and do your pre-trip. From that moment, 14 hours later, you have to be off duty or in a sleeper. Okay? And in that 14 hours, it will not stop. That clock just keeps running. That one do not stop, okay?
Okay.
That is your window of time. During that window of time, you can perform 11 hours of on duty, whether it be driving or securement, on duty time for securement, low check, tire check, all that stuff, okay? Fueling, all that stuff has to be done on duty, and that on duty time counts as that 11-hour clock, okay?
Okay.
Now you can see that there's a 3-hour difference between 11 and the 14, and that gives you enough time to be off duty for a little while, take an hour break, whatever you need to do. It's got a window of time there for you to not be working. That's what that difference is, okay? All right. Once you go on duty, let's just say you start driving or good on duty or whatever, okay? You can be on duty or driving for 8 consecutive hours. After 8 consecutive hours, you must take a 30-minute break, okay?
All right.
Okay, so let's just say, perfect scenario, you started the truck up, you started driving, and you drove 8 consecutive hours. Your DOT clock will tell you an hour before that, hey, you only got an hour of drive time left. And it'll tell you, you got 30 minutes of drive time left. You got 15 minutes of drive time left. Hey, goddamn it, pull over, you got to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what is going to lead up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once you stop at that 8 hours and you go off duty, you're going to go off duty for break, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're going to go off duty for break, and you have to stay on break for consecutive 30 minutes. After you've stayed on break for consecutive 30 minutes, the DOT clock will then give you back the 3-hour difference between the 8 and the 11. So you can actually drive 3 more hours after you take that 30-minute break. You understand me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that part's easy. The Qualcomm has the DOT clock in there that's going to help you keep up with that.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be a problem with that part, okay? But you just need to know what those clocks mean. Okay? And that's going to help you plan your trip. Okay? So you'll know where you're gonna take your breaks, that sort of stuff, okay? Your DOT clock is set up in quarters, okay? And if you think about your DOT clock, when I say clock up, what we're talking about right now is your logs.
Mm-hmm.
Paper logs. Your paper log is set up in quarters, okay? And this would be 1 hour of time. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters, 1 hour, okay? That's how one blockade of time is, okay? On your logbook, okay? Let's look at let's pretend this is an actual clock, okay? So you can kind of understand what that's going to do. Here's an actual clock, okay? And Okay. All right, here we go. From here to here, as that clock is going around, okay? From here to here, that's 25, okay? From here to here is 50. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And from here to here is 75, okay? From here to here is the 1 hour, okay? This is whole right here. All right. So if you log on and you go to right here, you cannot put a nickel right there, okay? It's got to be in quarters, okay? So this is a 15-minute window. Another 15-minute window. 15 minutes and 15 minutes is half an hour, okay? 50 cents, see? And then same thing here, another 15 is 75, okay? And then here is 1 hour. And right here cannot be, 20 cents, okay? It can't be 30 cents or 40 cents, okay? It can't be nothing in between here. So if there's, if you was on duty for, 20 minutes of time, you can't do 15. It's got to be the half, okay? And we're going to show you why in a little bit. There's no time gap between here and here. If you are anywhere in the middle, you have to go forward. Okay? All right. So now we understand, okay?
Yeah.
So let's say you were on duty for 8 minutes. What would you do for 8 minutes? Where would you put that?
I have to go right here.
That's exactly. What if it was 63 minutes?
I will have to go right here.
Okay. So this is how much? 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is how much?
30.
Okay. And then this is how much?
75.
No.
30.
It will be equivalent to 45, but we have to say 75, right?
Okay.
Okay. And from here to here would then be
An hour.
60, right?
Oh, 60, yeah.
Okay. So how much did I just say? 60 what?
60.
How much did I tell you the time that we was that I want you to allot for? I start over. Let's say 65.
We have to go here.
Okay. So if we go 15, 30, 45, and 60, then 63 would have to be over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that means it's done looped around.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because it's more than 1 hour.
Right.
And that's where a lot of guys get confused.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if I said it was 58 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
where would you go?
If it was 58 minutes, I would have to go right here.
Okay, so now this is how much?
45.
It's really 45.
Okay, I'm just getting you.
That's right, because we're going to, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to purposefully trip you up, but I'm trying to show you that the clock time in minutes and its representation of our time zones here, okay, where those minutes will fall. It's very tricky. Even though this is 75, this whole ring could only amount to 60 minutes total. Okay? 75 basic, the 75 right here basically indicates to you the third quadrant. The end of the third quadrant and the beginning of the final quadrant. Okay? That's what this represents. Okay?
All right.
Okay, so if it was 43, where would it go? 43 minutes.
Right here.
That's right, because it's less than the 60,
Right.
but it's greater than the 30.
Right.
So that's why you're in this zone, and you can't put anything in the middle here. You have to put it here. Okay. And that 45 minutes is going to represent 75. Right.
Okay.
You got it?
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Okay, now it's okay. I got you.
Okay, so let's take, I want you to consider 25 for that first quadrant.
Okay.
Consider 50 for that second quarter. Consider 75 for the third quarter. And anything from here to here is going to have to be a whole
hour. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So let's see if this is going to make sense. Okay.
Okay.
You don't get to keep these quarters, but I do want you to keep in mind what's going to happen. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here's our quarters in your DOT logbook. Okay.
Okay.
You got 1 quarter right here. You're going to have 2 quarters right here. You're going to have 3 quarters right here. And anything that's going to go from here to here,
it's a hole.
it's a hole. You got to put it here. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're on duty for 20 minutes,
Okay.
where are you going to have to log to?
I'm gonna have to log right here.
Okay. From here to here is how many?
25.
And that is one. That's your first quadrant.
Yeah.
25 here. Okay. And that goes from how many minutes does that go up to? The first quadrant is how many minutes? Let's look at that clock again. How many minutes is in the first quarter?
3.
How many? No. How many minutes is in there? Just look, I know it's tripping you up. So think about it. This is a clock.
Yeah.
So from here to here, how many minutes is in a clock?
15.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So how many minutes are
15.
here? Okay. And from here to here, it's going to be what?
30.
30. Okay. And so from here to here, it's going to represent 25.
Right.
From here to here, it's going to represent 50.
50.
From here to here, it's going to represent 75. From here to here, it's going to represent 60. It's got to be 60 when you get here.
Okay, so 15, 30, 75 an hour?
That's right.
Okay.
So, and you cannot stop in the middle. You're going to have to go all the way. Okay. So if it's 8 minutes, we can't stop here. We have to log that to here.
Okay.
We have to log it in 15-minute intervals.
Okay.
Okay? You following me so far?
Yeah.
All right. So if I said it's 55, you've been on duty for 55 minutes, where you're going to draw, you're going to start that line right here. And where would you stop drawing a line at, when I said you've been on duty for 55 minutes?
Oh, let's stop right here.
Okay, so let's count those. 15, and then from here to here is what?
30.
Okay, and then from here to here would be
75.
45.
45. I'm sorry.
Okay, so if it's 45 and I said 55, where you going to draw that line to?
Oh, that hour.
And you got the whole hour. You see?
Yeah.
And so we have to think about where those quadrants lie. Okay, this is only 15-minute intervals. Okay, and this clock, at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, this clock is the same thing as this. It's just laid out in a graph type of way.
So you said every 15 minutes. So this is 15, 30, 45 an hour?
Correct.
But you was making it seem like, okay, 25, 50, 75.
You know why?
$1.
You know why?
Oh, shit.
Why?
Okay, I get it now.
Yes, because when we get through, you're going to add it up, right?
Yeah.
You can't add up 15, 20, 30. You have to add up, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I want you to consider 25, and then 50, and then 75, and then this is going to be an hour.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right? It's going to be 100. 100 is what you write in that book, right? 1 hour, you write it as 100.
Right.
Okay, but did you write this as 75, right?
Yeah,
you write this as 50, right?
Right.
You write this as 25.
Right.
Okay. We know in actual time, in minutes, on this clock right here, what they must represent. From 1 minute to 15 minutes, it's in this quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's 17 minutes, it's got to be here.
Mm-hmm. Because
we can't do anything beyond 15 minutes in a 15-minute window. Okay.
Right.
Everything once you start the 16th minute, then that's in that next quadrant.
Okay.
Okay. And so let's try another little quick quiz here. If it is 29 minutes on duty time for 29 minutes, You would draw your line starting here, and 29 minutes stops with, hey, the goddamn light bulb is coming on. I like that. Perfect. That is exactly correct. Okay. So now, whenever with the way we graph these things, this is just one. Consider this one. Let's just say, oh, this is on duty. Okay. We would start our line in this hour of on duty time, and we would draw it all the way until we get to that half. That's where you want it, that 29 minutes. Okay. That's where our line would stop. Okay. When it stops there, we go to our next thing, which may be off duty, and that's when you log down or up, wherever off duty is.
We never count down. We only call when we go across.
Well, right, because you should be going straight. The time, there should be no time gap, and going straight down doesn't forward or backwards that line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I was going to draw a line, you know, to here, I need to go straight down, and then we're going to make the flag out, right? Okay, because you don't do the flag part. We're going to get to that, but right now, for what I want you to understand is what the time looks like, okay?
Yeah.
And what those deals are gonna represent. Yeah. Do you understand that now, huh?
Yeah.
And we understand what the 8-hour clock is.
Yeah.
8-hour clock is what is it? 8 hours.
What you have consecutive to work in a day.
Before you have to take a break.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the 8 hours. 11 hours is how many hours you can actually be on duty and driving.
Right.
Okay, and then 14 hours is the window of time in which you can perform the 11 hours. But you honestly only have one clock, and that is this one, the 14-hour clock. That 14-hour clock is really the only clock you have. It starts and it doesn't finish. It doesn't stop until you go to the sleeper or go off duty, or it runs out. Until it runs out. Okay, when it runs out, then it's done. Okay, and the rest of the DOT clock and how it works with sleeper and personal conveyance and all these other things that come into play and getting recaps. This is all a different situation. What I'm trying to get you to understand now is how our grafting is going to work. Okay, because that's going to be important when you get sheet. Okay.
Okay.
Each one of this little section right here, that little section looks familiar, doesn't it? It's that graph, that little box, right? So that box, this little first section of box is how much?
15.
And it equals
25.
That's right. And then the second box is
50 cents, which is 30.
30, and 30 minutes of time, and we record it as 50, right? Okay, so that third box right there is going to be what?
45.
That's right. And if it gets to the last line,
that's an hour.
Wait a minute, back up. This one right here was how much? This line right here, the third.
75. I'm sorry.
75. There you go. I thought I heard something wrong. Okay. So if we draw a line in here, we're going to count that as 25.
Right.
Okay. If we draw it here, we're going to count it as 50. Okay. If we draw it here, we're going to count it as 75. If we're going to count here, we're count it as 100, which is an hour.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we got that, right? So if, look at that. See that? Can you tell me? And I got to, and I'll tell you right now that it stops at this first line right here. So how much time does that represent?
That is an hour and 15 minutes.
That is fantastic. Okay, and if that was the only amount of time recorded of off duty this day, what would you write? What's the number that you would write over here?
1, right?
Well, that's 1 here, but it can't be. You got to count for this. So how much would that
115?
Right, but 15, we don't record 15. We record 15 as what?
25.
Exactly. So that would actually be what?
125.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So everyone, when we move from here, we have to count that extra.
Always, always have to record time you spend on the right amount of time. Okay, you can't say, well, I know I was on duty for 15 extra minutes, but I'm just going to say it now, because that doesn't work. We have to be honest with our time, and if this is an extra line right here, we have to count that 25. If it was here, we would have to count that 50, and it would be 150.
I get it. So after this hour, it automatically turns into 25.75. I mean, 50,
correct. Correct. It's gonna keep starting over. Okay. Each one of these boxes starts over. This box right here is its own 25, 50, 75, 1. This one starts over again with its own 25, 50, 75, 1. Okay. Okay. But if I added them together, it will be 2 hours. Okay. So let's say this happens. Hold on a second. All right. Let's look at that. Let's look at that, and let's ignore this, okay? Pretend that doesn't exist. Okay?
Okay.
What would you record this as? What would you write over here?
$4.50.
Ah, damn it, the light bulb done come on.
Oh, that's right.
I'm liking that. That's right.
All right, for sure.
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and halfway is 50.
Okay.
That 30 minutes is recorded as 50. That is absolutely correct. I'm feeling good now. Before you didn't know it, I'm liking this. Okay. So here's the next thing. What we're gonna do. We're gonna go on duty. Let's just say we needed to. We woke up and found a flat tire. And we happened to be at the Loves, and the guy at the Loves took 4 hours to change that flat. Technically, legally, we're supposed to be on duty for that because we're getting work done, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's just say that's what happened during this pre-trip right there.
Okay.
Okay? And then we took off. Okay?
Okay.
So we would go all the way down, we would draw this line all the way down into driving, like this, and then stop. Start going. Take off. Okay. And let's say you drove for 3.5 hours. If you drove for 3.5 hours, put this pin at the spot where it should stop. 3.5 hours.
Okay. So that's one. Hold on, wait. So we going. Let's stop right here.
Okay, so you're saying right here, right?
Right.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3.5 hours, okay?
Okay.
How much is this?
1.
That much?
That's 1.
This is 25.
Oh.
And another 25.
So that's 50.
So that means what? That's a half hour then, right?
Right.
So if we half hour to here, then now we only need to count 3 hours. 1, 2, 3.
Wait, go say it again.
This right here is half an hour, correct?
Yeah.
So we need to count that. We can't ignore that. We have to count that as half an hour.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
This is half an hour.
Yeah, 50.
Okay, and then this is an hour.
50.
So now we're at an hour and a half. Now that's another hour. Now we're at 2.5. Another hour. We're at 3.5.
Dang. Okay. Okay. It makes sense now.
Okay, that's 3.5. It was. Let's say we drove for the 8.
Okay.
Non-stop. Where will you stop?
Oh, you talking?
Yeah, I want you to go 8 consecutive hours.
Okay. So that's 1 hour.
Where? Yep.
And then from here. to here, that's 2. Right?
Yeah.
And then from here to here, that's 3. Wait, from here to here, that's 7.
6.
Oh, that's 6.
Well, you keep backing it
Yeah,
up, so don't do that. Look,
Okay.
let's do it together.
Okay, from here to here, that's 1, and then 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 12, 30.
Exactly. And at this point right here, you would need to draw a solid line to here.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you would have driven 8 hours. And what happens in 8 hours?
You have to stop. You have to take a break.
And how long that break need to be?
30 minutes.
Man, we are cooking with grease right now. That's going to be enough for right now because our video is going to be like 4 hours long. Nobody's going to watch it. All right, so we're going to take up from here at the next tutorial.